a world made of light, code, and control, what happens when the line between human and program finally disappears? Welcome back to another video of Everything Movies. Today we're diving into Tron, directed by Joachim Roning and starring Jared Leto, Evan Peters, and Greta Lee. This sequel brings us back to the Tron grid after more than a decade, but does it live up to its legacy? Let's break it down. This story primarily follows the character Ares, played by Jared Leto, who is a program that was created by the evil scientist character who is played by Evan Peters, and he's like the main bad guy of the film. His character is super obsessed and controlling, and he wants to be the first to pioneer this new technology that uses AI to basically create things from nothing, and he obviously wants to use that for more malicious reasons because he's the bad guy. And this story primarily takes place in the real world, unlike the other two Tron movies. It kind of explores the concept of the creator being the actual issue or the problem rather than the creation. But overall, this story is about identity, power, and the intoxicating appeal of living forever. Evan Peters steals the show as the villain, and this was my first time ever seeing him in an antagonistic role, and I could literally see his obsession over control and power throughout this film. And then also he does a good job in showing how he thinks about his morals too. Like throughout the movie, he's wondering if he's doing the right thing, even though it's kind of hard to tell. You have to really squint your eyes and really pay attention. But I believe that there was some good in him that he just kept on resisting, and I thought that was like really cool as an actor for him to be able to do and exuberate throughout this film. This film also dives into the idea of permanence, and it makes the audience and the characters in the movie question if living in the real world is actually truly having a permanent life, and then it gets the characters, especially Ares, to realize that maybe being real is part of, you know, eventually dying, and maybe that's okay. You know, maybe that's okay with him. Jared Leto plays more of a calm, but he has an unsettling energy to him because he kind of plays more like the savior, but he is also being pulled out of the real world because that's a little bit more into spoiler territory. But his character is very contrasting because part of him is trying to learn about this new world, while another part of him is really struggling with being an AI, a program. So I thought that was really interesting as well. And then lastly, Greta Lee's character, she brings like the grounded part of the story, like the balance, and she's like in my opinion, she was more of the beacon of what humanity is for Jared Leto's character, because every time Ares would look at her, he would start to understand what it means to be a human and what it means to really just want to be something other than a program. Now, the only downside about having all of these new characters is that there was no mention at all about any of the older characters from the Tron Legacy movie, and it was just a little bit harder for me to really care about them because those old characters weren't in it. So I would say if they were in the movie, it would have been very, very much more interesting. Now, as far as the visuals in this movie, they are absolutely stunning. I'm not gonna lie. The CGI in this movie is top notch, and I had a good time just watching it alone. And then accompanied with the CGI was the score. The score for this film is very, very good. I do have one critique about the score, but overall, I truly enjoyed seeing the action pieces and the music accompanying the movie, and it was very, very fun to watch. Two critiques. So one thing about the score is that I don't remember much about that movie. I know that Tron Legacy had a very memorable soundtrack, but they never played a piece of that in this movie, and it really made the movie feel that much more disconnected from that movie. And I just wish that they had put a little nugget in the music somewhere to let us know, like, hey, we are aware of the past movie. At least connecting the music would have been very, very cool to see. And then lastly, the pacing of this film, this was more on the slow end at one point into the movie, but it's really not that hard to like stay interested. You know, like there's always something happening. There's always some fast-paced action scenes happening. So that was never truly an issue for me. But there was a few times where I'm not gonna lie, I did pull out my phone. I was like, man, this movie's kind of long. But you already know when I have to pull out my phone, that's not a good sign. You know, I'm looking at the time. That means I'm losing interest. You know, Tron Ares doesn't necessarily make me that excited for the Tron series. However, it does, I guess, give the series a pulse of life, because with the performances in this movie and the strong ideas of identity creation and existence, I thought it was a solid sci-fi film. Putting the pacing and everything aside, I think it was worth watching. And I'm going to give this movie a good 7 out of 10 because the ride was worth it. It had good CGI, good action scenes, high stakes. It was very, very entertaining. If you enjoyed this review, hit that like button and subscribe for more movie breakdowns like this. And tell me down below in the comments what you thought about Tron Ares. See you all in the next one.